about 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna go jump over probably to Instagram for about 30 minutes. Felt like I would go live here a little bit today, and why not? I mean, these lives, I do know like a lot of people actually get a lot out of these lives. So I think that's kind of what's always motivated me to do them. I know it helps people, so people that are struggling and stuff just feel a little bit less alone, feel like a little bit more understood. Who knows what it is, like, but I do get it. What's up, Stoll? How are you? Um, Hi, Rivers. So I have found like a passion to going live, to sharing again. It used to be a big passion of mine. It is now mine again. Hi, Claudia. How are you? I go live on TikTok and I go live on YouTube at the same time. I'll probably go live on Instagram here in a little bit and just answer any questions. It's not like I'm an expert when it comes to any of this stuff. Like, I'm super open about it. I am super open about my struggles, what I've been through. What's up, Jen? How are you, sweetie? Um, I'm not off the username. I don't. Hey, Caitlin. How are you? I have a pretty good memory for certain people. Some people I don't. It's nothing. It's nothing personal. Um, Glad to find me. Oh, glad to find you too. It's always nice just to find individuals and people that you can connect with, that you relate to. I mean, that's what I think it all comes down to, is finding people that you fucking relate to, that you go, you know what, this person's going through some shit, I've gone through some shit, and you can relate to it. And I think that makes a huge difference. I'm doing good. I think it makes a huge difference, and I don't think people really get that, of how much of a difference it makes. Like, I give my number out. I have a phone number mentoring that I do, and I had one lady who hit me up, is a business owner. She goes through what is it, opiates and stuff right now is her big struggle, and it was cool to be able to talk to her and her go, dude, like, I found her shit and you're pretty fucking real. And she goes, I've never been able to like relate to somebody the way that I can relate to you. And I was like, dude, I thank you. Um, hey, you can relate to the truth. Yeah, I try to be as truthful as I can, as blunt as I can, because the reality is how real this shit is. Oh, there we are. Sorry about that, TikTok. I think the more real and honest you are about your struggles. Hey, Vaughn, the more real and honest you are about your struggles, the more that people can relate to it. Because I think a lot of times we like sugarcoat shit. I think a lot of stuff in life is just a little too sugarcoated, and when you try and portray something that you try to portray something that you think that people will like you for or whatever, and that's not the fucking way that it is. It's actually quite opposite. People want the fucking real. They want to know what it's like to be in the pits of hell. Thank you so much for the gift. Hubby makes my anxiety worse. My wife used to. Just done it. Can't sleep. You ain't gonna be able to sleep. Love you too. Opiate is my issue. 1 year clean tomorrow. Oh my God, I realize that. Congratulations on the 1 year clean, dude. 1 year clean is huge. A day clean is huge. A week clean is huge. It's like, celebrate every fucking day you're alive when it comes to sobriety. I mean, we forget to do that, and we forget the importance of it. That sobriety is, I mean, when you struggle with shit, I mean, it took me a while to realize that I had to start celebrating every day, because if I didn't celebrate every day, I thought I had control on everything, and I had to realize I had no control over any of this. Like, I could not control my addiction. It was not something I was going to outgrow. It wasn't something that I was going to be able to control how much I drank. And I just had to say, you know what, fuck it, dude. Let me build a different life. Suffer morning. It's chronic. I feel that, Rochelle. Love you too. I want to open up to my parents, but I would open up to your parents, dude. I mean, I didn't realize how many people out there, even young, are hooked on like opiates and blues and shit like that. 4 months off of ice, getting clean off my second. Dude, congratulations. It's no hardest battle. Dude, Coke was a hard ass battle. And I don't think people really realize the struggle even with Coke is because of how much it dopamine rushes you and serotonin, that you just feel unstoppable. And man, getting sober off of that, it's the depression. I think one of the hardest things with any drug that you get sober from, whether it's opiates, whether it's heroin, whether it's fucking meth, if it's Coke, is that whole thing of your depression is so real. Like, your brain starts to fucking just fuck with you. Pictures your yeah, Chloe, I have videos up with her in it. Coke and alcohol together, hard. Yeah, dude, Jen, I was too. Coke and alcohol together were my like poly combination, because it gave me just zero fucks. Um, You have anxiety at night. I feel that. Anxiety is most for most people at night just because it's your brain has to be quiet then. Gratitude journals and actually doing journaling actually does help. I've done that. I've got, yes. Lexapro is not an addictive drug from what they've done studies wise. I'm not a doctor, but it is not addictive. It is SSRI, can have adverse effects, but again, I'm not addictive. 11 days sober. Congratulations, Harry. Tips for first steps towards sobriety, or at least chilling out. Want to be sober, Reef, and like no hate and stuff thrown your way. You ain't ready to be sober. Nobody's ready to be sober until you're like, I need to quit this shit. If you want to quit this shit and you want to quit it all, that is when you are ready to be sober. If you feel that you know, how do I control this? How do I get this, like, how do I tone it down? You ain't there yet, and you're going to relapse. Don't set yourself up for failure, dude, because all that's going to do is throw failure into your fucking whole way of that you enable yourself. And it's going to actually, in the end, I feel, always make shit worse for you. I love how my lives always get age restricted. I appreciate that they actually do that. Hello, Jennifer. Feeling empty, don't know what to do. Reach out for help. Believe me, there's a lot of people out there, believe it or not, that actually would help you. Strangers are actually the kindest motherfuckers there are. Sober since September 15th. Congratulations. Have I taken shrooms? I've taken shrooms before. Psychedelics were never a drug of choice to me. And it really comes down to when it was like with any of the psychedelics, I didn't mind them, but they weren't me. They weren't me. You're on lean, dude. Lean is brutal. Failure enabling yourself, great point. Yeah, no, Chris, as an addict, dude, we fail on purpose sometimes, just sort of the sole fact that we can relapse and not feel bad about a relapse. I mean, and we don't ever take account to that shit. We don't own that shit. Have you always had Coke the next morning? Did you? Sometimes I would have Coke or electric. What I would do, I was really stupid and insane. I would usually drop a bunch on like my floor mat. So I'd go to my car and I would actually pick out some of the chunks, crush it up, and have a couple lines or hit up my plug. I usually wouldn't bring Coke into my house once I finally got home, just because it was like my weird way of trying to budget it. A lot of times though, I would jump over. I am streaming. I stream on 2 different platforms though. How does it affect my nose? My sinuses are blown out, have a really bad sense of smell. I still have a septum, but my inside nose is super sensitive. If I sneeze too hard or blow my nose too hard, it just ruptures everything in there and I just start bleeding. Hello, Ben. I feel so much better now that I have all the money. Dude, I wish I had all the money. I wish I had all the money that I spent. Several panic attacks during the night, can't sleep. Any tips what you can do? Panic attacks is usually a basis. I've learned this from panic attacks through therapy. Get with a therapist. There aren't quick and easy fixes through a lot of the shit that we struggle with and a lot of the shit that we go through. So getting with a therapist is really important, because what ends up happening is with panic attacks, I learned, and why I had a lot of panic attacks, is if you lose somebody in your family, such as by suicide or death, you lose a job, financial trouble, stuff like that can actually draw out and pull out panic attacks for you. Paranoid hit you bad after line 5, dude. That shirt, is this shirt a lot better, babe? Does it hit the blue eyes? No, I never had paranoia when I was on Coke. I always just kept using, and I was so narrow-minded in my using that I never had like shadow people or anything like that where I like truly freaked out with like hallucinations. Is it worth to try lean? Fuck no. Do you ever get stressed running this account, helping people? I do sometimes. I do. Can I have advice, please? What do you want advice for? I have designer drugs like every month, done for 3 years now. Opinion, I find a bad opinion, but breaks in between. I'm not going to tell anybody how to use drugs or not. If it works for you, it works for you. I just can't. I know that I can't. I know a lot of people out there that can't. I will say this, everybody that I've ever talked to or I've gotten close with who has been able to like budget designer drugs or budget drugs, the one thing I have always noticed is they were for a while until eventually it totally pulled them in. Lean is cringe, dude. Lean is cringe. Like that's just, there were certain drugs to me that were like dirty drugs and dirty ways to get high that just did not excite me. And it was lean, meth, stuff like that, just, ugh. I am on Ellie. What do I think about smoking the greens? If it works for you, it works for you. I also have just done some mentoring with an individual who struggles with the greens, um, and that it brings a lot of anxiety and stuff to them. Anything that you take that alters your brain chemistry, it's going to take you a while for you to settle back in. I never got caught with law enforcement with coke. I had dealers that got busted. The closest I ever came actually getting busted was like an hour away from getting busted. I went to my dealer, picked up an 8 ball. I think it was only an 8 ball that day, and I hung out with him because he was somebody I knew. And then I left, and about an hour later, his house got raided by the cops. You're welcome. I'll give you my opinion on it, but lean can be highly addictive. It can be. Do you know anything about mental hospitals and stuff, my mama? Again, get with your parents, get with therapists on it. My content's for 18 and older. I will say this though: rehab and mental facilities and rehabs of that sort are key, and they do help. But you have to go and you got to want help. If you go to a rehab or you go to a mental health facility and you don't want fucking help, you're not gonna get it. And it's okay to look at people and be like, dude, something is wrong, but I don't know what the fuck is wrong. Like, I don't know what is wrong up here. I don't know what is wrong. And that is okay, just to at least first starting off and admitting to yourself that there's a problem there. You don't have to know what the fuck the problem is. Just know that something ain't right. And then once you finally get that out and you can admit to yourself that, hey, I got a fucking problem in my brain. I don't feel that it's normal. I'm not doing normal shit. You can start to actually open up and be honest of what do I feel isn't wrong, right? What do I feel that I can change, and what do I need help with? And it leads you down that journey. Hey, Spider, how are you? How long were I on coke for? Heavy use of coke was from about 2007 to 2015 was a decent amount of coke. 2015 to 2017, massive amount of cocaine. I'm doing good, Joey. Miss Impulsive actually pinned a comment up there. That is the mentoring number I have. It is $4.99, but I will chat with you personally. I've done it actually with a lot of people now, a lot more addicts than anybody else when it comes to it, and that is my passion. I think my bigger passion, more than even mental health, is the addiction side of it, because I know how fucked up we get in the head. Did I sniff it? I only snorted coke. I never smoked it. I was so obsessed. So here's my drug of choice. If you want to know how weird our addict brains are, I got high by just laying out a line, having the bag in my hand, breaking it up, knowing that I was going to do it. All of that was so much. I know I don't know how to do the banner thing. Rehab can be incredibly helpful. And so exactly, Luann. How are you, sweetie? Why do you think so many people are addicted to coke? I live in Ireland where so many people are. Because people think it's a safe drug. If you want to know the stigma is around cocaine stigma is this. Cocaine is, if you look in all the movies, it's a rich drug. It's a glamorized drug. A lot of sex revolves around it. A lot of women revolve around it. A lot of party revolve around it. You don't see coke addicts dead underneath a freeway overpass because they fucking OD'd on it. Coke has actually one of the most dangerous stigmas is that it is safe. You have Hollywood actors, you have all these people, successful business people who use cocaine. So it gives off this stigma that Coke is actually a safe drug, when in return, the most dangerous side effect of Coke is that it's amazing. You do a line of cocaine and your dopamine's through the charts, your fucking serotonin's through the charts, and you feel amazing for about 20 minutes until it drops you. The rehabs I went to are just selling subs. And maybe some are, but I will say this: when it comes to just even when it comes to like Suboxone and it comes to any way to get off of you an opiates, it's a solution. It is a process. It's the process. It is the process that you almost get high off of doing the process of getting high. One of your videos posted a couple years back. Oh, I'm glad you're still here, Connor. Till you have anxiety and panic attacks. Well, I know, Danielle. I never had anxiety attacks, though, and panic attacks on coke for whatever weird reason. How do you get off Fenty perks? You either decide you want to get off of them or you die. Job, that's literally the reality of it. What up, Greedo? Literally, I think the reality when it comes to fentanyl perks is seriously, you're either going to decide to get off of them yourself and you fight through that sobriety, you fight through that pain, or you get buried. And I've had friends that have gotten buried from that. That's a good analogy. Thank you. I've tried a few times. I think there is nothing worse than when it's 6 a.m. and the birds are chirping and an alarm is set for work. Yeah, no, it is. Hey, I think there's nothing. I mean, people don't really realize. A huge fan of mat treatment. Yes, exactly. I am too. I mean, if you're on mat treatment, you're on mat treatment. I think the worst thing is when you go to when you do go to NA. Some of the NA meetings out there. If you've had a bad experience with the NA or AA, try multiple meetings. You're going to go into some meetings where you're not going to like it. You're going to go into some meetings where you'll feel accepted. You'll go into some meetings where you'll feel like an outsider. It's finding the meetings that you vibe in that environment the best. And I will say this, that, you know, if any of what you have to take to get off is hey, props. Hi Tammy, day 3, congratulations. Cocaine addicts are younger and younger. They are younger and younger. Best advice. Mhm. Now you'll OD on Fenty perks. It's inevitable. People are making Fenty perks, and people that have a pill press, they're street corner pharmacists. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're trying to make as much money as they possibly can. So guess what? You pop one of those, and you may have a good batch. You may have a bad batch, and a bad batch means you die. 1 week out of the hospital. Congratulations, Allie. Or just hit a 12 pound. Nice way to go, aliens. As long as people get on, yeah, I know people on, even if they're on subs forever, if people I know are on Suboxone forever, it's still better than a heroin needle. It's still better than a fentanyl overdose. Like I'm for however anybody gets sober. I'm on Adderall still. I have ADHD. I've been on Adderall since I was 17. In some people's eyes, I'm not sober. Wasn't my drug of choice by any means, but in some people's eyes, I'm not sober. And for them, they can go suck my dick because I don't really care. I'm not doing coke and I'm not destroying my life. I'm not this horrible monster that I was. And I will say this, my drug use became exponential when I got off of some of the meds that I did that actually helped me keep sane. I did 2 grams a week, sometimes 4 days. I love coke. It's messing up my nose. No, it'll fuck up your nose really bad. What happens if you do a few? You're not gonna sleep. Appreciate you so much. Thank you, Toys R Us. I appreciate that. I'm a nurse in an addict medicine unit and show my patients your TikToks all the time. Oh, thank you, Lynn. Lay. I appreciate that. I mean, I try to be as real as I can with addiction, and that is the thing. My nose is healed for the most part. I'm not going to get back the damage that I've done into my sinuses. I've been told that that's not going to fix itself. My sense of smell has returned to the best that it's going to. There is some shit gone up in here. I am live on 2 platforms, Jennifer. I'm live on YouTube right now, and I'm live on TikTok. I'm actually going to jump off of TikTok in a few. I'm only going to be live for about 30 minutes here, and then I'm going to jump over to Instagram for about 30 minutes. When did you stop taking? I stopped taking 7/25/17. Today is day 2 of quitting kratom. What kind of kratom were you on? Feel like caffeine. I'm sleepy. Want to take some? I feel it. I've never done ketamine, but I've heard good and bad things about ketamine. You do a good job. Thanks, Lynn. I appreciate that. 3 years since my dad died. Super slide lately. It feels like I'm stuck in the first days again. Have you went to trauma therapy? Trauma therapy did wonders for me. Trauma therapy was very important. I didn't realize how much I ignored my trauma, and my trauma led me into a lot of addiction. It led me into my addiction getting a lot worse because I ended up self-medicating through trauma. If you want to know when my cocaine use, so I was doing at the peak of my addiction 1 to 2 8-balls of coke a day. I was drinking 2 to 3 fifths of vodka a day. And I got to that peak addiction. I got to that point. Wasn't before anything until my wife committed suicide. When my wife committed suicide, I ignored it. And about 2 months after that is when I really started getting big into coke again. I started drinking probably at that time at least a fifth of vodka a day. And it just started to snowball higher. I can only snort out of one nostril. I used to be so bad that I would blow my nose sometimes because you do so much coke that it all clumps up in here, and I would blow my nose into tissue, and I would take that tissue and rip it up, and I'd have beer usually or a drink, and I would fucking eat that shit because I knew there was coke in it. That's how insane I was. I was so sick, dude, and people don't get that. Trauma therapy is a beast. Just start trauma therapy. Yeah, Luann, it's a fucking beast, and to start admitting to stuff is huge. Hospital killed me on ketamine, had to reverse it because I was about to die of that shit. Yeah, no, I've heard pros and cons on ketamine, and like my psychiatrist has tried to get me to do ketamine, And I just don't know if I'm there or not yet. I mean, I've done a lot of research on it. I've talked to a lot of people about ketamine, and I'm just like, oh. I see a psychiatrist now. He's putting me on meds, my crippling anxiety. Good. There's nothing wrong with getting on meds to help you. Meds are like tools, man, and there's nothing to be ashamed of with meds. There was a period of time that I was on Xanax and Adderall, literally to help me through panic attacks and through my dad's suicide without relapsing on coke and alcohol. Hey, man, just want to tell you, thank you, Nyla. I appreciate that. How cool you are, and I don't know if you would look up to me, but hey, I would say thanks. Um, I just try to share the reality of it. I mean, if you want to know the reality of Coke versus what you see on like TV and you see, the fake fucking people, the bullshit people talk about Coke and yeah, we're gonna go do a couple lines and it's a party. No, you ain't a fucking whatever. Fuck you. The ones that I enjoy are the fucking addicts. The ones that know what it's like to be at like 4 a.m. in the morning, fucking hot plating a plate because you're fucking just carpet surfed, fucking sweating bullets, watching porn, just trying to fill this black fucking hole inside of you, saying fuck work, I'm not going to work tomorrow, calling up your fucking plug, you're broke because you just spent all your money that was supposed to go somewhere else on fucking drugs, and you're fucking losing your shit, man. I mean, that is the reality of it. Could be for their biggest high. Scary and amazing. Yeah, no, it's pros and cons. Ketamine definitely is scary and amazing at the same time. I appreciate that. It's a scary drug, man. And again, ketamine is one of those drugs that has a plus and minus side to it. And so it is one of those that it can kind of fucking haunt you. Yeah, thank you, Electric. People can work through trauma, but you have to want to work through it. I will say this: the biggest thing that I've learned when it came to trauma is you have to want to heal. Like if you're not ready, it's kind of like sobriety, man. If you're not even ready to get sober, if you're not ready to work through your fucking trauma, you don't want to, it ain't gonna fucking work for you. Try gambling to replace coke. Yeah, a lot of people will jump off of shit. Can't seem to get off. CBG, it is expensive as fuck. I'm not an only child. No, I have an older brother. How do I help my son stop coke? You don't, Audrey. Don't give him any money though. Set up healthy boundaries. Kick him out of the house. Let him hit rock bottom. I mean, that is my advice, unfortunately, for addicts. The safest thing that you can really do to really truly help an addict is literally not enable them. And unfortunately, I think with parents in a lot of cases, enabling and support have such a gray area back and forth that a lot of times parents, unfortunately, not even realizing it, end up enabling their kids to continue using. We're extreme dissociative effects. You're super addictive as a young kid. Definitely pros and cons, but I've seen it help so many. I've seen it help a lot too. When you're done, you're done. Not a moment sooner. Exactly. Nobody's coming to save you in addiction but yourself. No one saves you in addiction but yourself, and that is true. No one does save you, man. And you have to want to save yourself. There's a lot of people out there that don't want to be saved. There's a lot of people that don't want to be saved, and ain't nobody gonna save them, and they need to save themselves. And that's the saddest part too, is when you go to some of these funerals and stuff, and you see a couple parents there and not many other people there because they fucking have lied and cheated and stole with everybody, that everybody's separated from them, and they end up dying alone. And that's the scariest part about it. You had a high-paying job because you lost because of your addiction. How did you find your way back to work again, sober, and do what you do now? So I lost my job. When I lost my job, I had hit rock bottom. I actually hit rock bottom. I lost that job. I went on an interview. I got another job as a sales manager. They hired me on the spot. And it was the week leading up to that next job that I was like, I'm just going to keep fucking doing this again if I don't get sober. And so literally that was my rock bottom point, was in there. And that's when I hit to that point of I had to stop this insanity. Otherwise it was just going to continue. And it was literally just not wanting to give up. I knew what kind of life I wanted, and I knew I could get that life because I had it. But I had to get the addiction side away from it. A lot of therapy, a lot of different meds, trial and error, going back to the psychiatrist, getting back on my meds that helped me mentally. It helped keep me sober. Um, a lot of support, cutting a lot of people out of my life. There was a lot that went into it. It wasn't an easy process. Am I currently working now? Yes. Except my work now is a lot different than what it used to be, and I love what I do now. Hey, family member die alone, heroin OD, addict, homeless brother who seemed to have hit rock. How to help a stim addict, homeless brother who have no rock bottom? Hopefully one day they do hit the rock bottom. You're not going to help somebody hit that rock bottom is the unfortunate thing. What up, Cubby? How are you, brother? Son has psychosis and scared to kick him out of the house, living with me at least. I know he's alive. Yeah, no, Aubrey, and that's the hardest part. There you go. There you go. That is the hardest part for parents out there. And this is something that parents have to acknowledge. Like, Al-Anon is phenomenal. Go to Al-Anon and get the understanding down of addiction. But here's what I really mean by this is you don't want your son to die, and I get that, which allows you now to enable him. And you have to know this, that your son as an addict doesn't love you. He might love you, but on the level of love, his drugs are here and you're right here. And there's a big fucking gap between you. I'm good, Cubby. How you doing, brother? What meds help me? I'm ADHD, so one of the things I found is when I got off my ADHD meds, my brain went psychotic on me, and so what would I do? I would self-medicate, usually like with alcohol to start with, to really help my brain kind of slow down, or me to slow down. Unfortunately, I would say this: I would rather be on my ADHD meds than drinking every fucking day. Was a good thing. Withdrawal tips. Withdrawal tips: ice chips, candies. Ice chewing on ice actually does help. You're addicted to vaping nicotine. Nicotine's a brutal one, man. I don't know how to necessarily give people a lot of suggestion and help when it comes to nicotine. It is, Cubby, and it's set for that too. Candace was in here. I think she's still in here. She was modding for me. I'm actually about to jump off of this and go over to Instagram Live. Hi, Rob. How are you? Gives you appetite? Yeah, I try to get them all out when I see that. Addicted to weed. I feel it. Thank you, Luann. I appreciate it. I'm actually going to go over to the professor here shortly, too. Professor is like my freedom to my brain. So nothing, thanks. What's that? I'm sorry. I'm on 2 different lives, so if I don't see your thing, it's not that I ignore it. The shakes and shadows, how to stop it? There isn't a quick fix. I think this is the thing that we forget as addicts, is that we think that there should be an easy fix. As addicts, we want there to be a pill to fix it, just like there's a pill to get on it. And there's not. It is a process. You're not going to stop having the effects of addiction and of your addiction for weeks, sometimes months, sometimes it could be even a year. It is one of those that people don't really realize that getting sober is a fucking journey and it's a fight. Kratom, if you see it, take one. Dude, I hated Kratom, man. Kratom fucked me up. Thank you, Audrey. I appreciate that. If you don't follow the Mr. Dot, or what is it, the dot Mr. Dot Impulsive on Instagram, that is my Instagram. I'll actually be over there here in a few minutes. I was only going to go live for about an hour today between the two. I am live the full time though on YouTube, and the YouTube channel is Eric B. Zink. So if you go to YouTube and type in Eric B. Zink, you'll see me live on there too. Medical withdrawal. Again, there. When it comes to withdrawing, I will say this: I think you build that character. I built a character, and this is my addiction withdrawal experience. I went cold turkey, and it was fucking hell. I hated it. I probably could have died easily, not realize how deadly and how addicted to alcohol I was, how much it affected my central nervous system. But going through that nightmare of withdrawals, of just the mental withdrawals, of the Shake withdrawals was just, it grew me into who I was, to knowing that what I went through was something that I never wanted to go through again, I guess. I think that experience really created that life for me of where I go, it's not worth it to make this fight again. Medical withdrawal. All right, I'm going to jump over to Instagram real quick on this one. How long have I been sober for? 7/25/17 is my sobriety date. That's when I got sober. You're 4 years sober. Congratulations. Where's Candace? She was out in the living room, I think. Saw short about the reaction abuse. Was it? Makes much sense to me. Never heard of that before. No, reaction abuse is real, man. Reaction abuse used to be what fired me up a fucking ton. Like, to relapse and use. Dude, somebody would set me off and get me to fucking just erupt. Dude, I would fucking just lose my shit. And I would get so angry. And then I'd be like disappointed in myself for being so angry that I would end up relapsing to calm myself down. And that was a brutal combination. I really had to learn how to handle people. It was a long time for me to handle people. It fucking sucked. You too, Cubby. I'm going to jump over to Insta on this account, guys. So if you're on the TikTok live, I'm going to be on Instagram. I like TikTok, but it's still not like my favorite of platforms. It is for some things, but for some things it's just not. Same. Yeah. Dude, reaction abuse. The thing is, I don't think a lot of people acknowledge what exactly reaction abuse is and how bad reaction abuse can be. Reaction abuse itself is actually extremely gnarly. And it's something that not like more people I think deal with reaction abuse than what I think they really realize what it is. Most people I don't even think they understand fully what reaction abuse is. Because reaction abuse is literally, it's that saying like you poke the bear, and once you poke the bear's eventually going to fucking bite you. It's going to snap back. It's going to explode. And that's essentially, a lot of people will actually, usually narcissistic people or with those kind of like tendencies will do it, where they literally provoke you into losing your shit. And as soon as you lose your shit and as soon as you go fucking sideways, they go, see, I told you he was fucking crazy. I told you that dude was fucking insane. That is reaction abuse. Hey, I was on Instagram here just a little bit, or on TikTok. So I'm on YouTube and Instagram now. So if you do have any questions, I do my best to answer them when I can on these lives. Appreciate that. Thanks. You're in withdrawal. If you're in withdrawal right now, dude, Warm Baths, dude. Warm Baths actually helped me through a lot of my withdrawals. It helped me with my restless legs. Yeah, gaslighting people will help set off reaction abuse too. Going through a lot of drug addiction in my family, but I go to those groups and they help. Yeah, no, groups do help, dude. NA helps, AA helps. If you're not an addict and you want to understand addiction, Al-Anon helps. Getting people around you that is supportive is fucking everything, because you go fucking sideways when you're going through fucking withdrawals, especially. Any types for quitting, figure out what triggers you on that. Hey, babe. If you're in crisis, call 911. I'm not a crisis. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. I'm none of that shit. My name is Eric. I'm diagnosed with ADHD, PTSD, GAD, MDD. I share about those experiences. I have level 1 autism. Recovering cocaine and alcoholic addict. My wife committed suicide in 2015. My dad in 2017. I attempted suicide in 2018. So I just share about that shit. I don't have any of the answers. You love my videos. They help. I'm glad they do. There you go. How do I save that, babe? Oh, I have to add you as moderators like each time. Embrace the suck. Exactly. Embrace the suck, dude. Embrace the suck of fucking getting better. Whether it is fucking addiction or whatever it fucking is, embrace that fucking shit. How do I tell if I'm addicted? If you're obsessed with it. I think the easiest way to really tell if you're addicted to something is do you live your life around it? Is your life everything when it comes to using? When it comes to getting high as a motherfucker, Is that the big like high part of your life, and of your day? I mean, if you're that obsessed with it, you probably are. You're addicted to like amphetamine. Yeah, amphetamines are extremely addicted. I am. I hope you're keeping well too. Tempted in 2017 after my dad passed. Thought about my mom passed 2001. Still think about it. I think a lot of people do think about it still, and this is the problem. Um, I can't. Don't know why I can't pin that. Watching from the UK, nice. I did make you a mod. There you are, babe. If you guys do want like mentoring help, that number that the Miss Impulsive has pinned down below is for 18 and older. There's a little part of AI to it. It's $4.99, and I will engage with you, and at least help and share what I've done or get you some resources. I've had a lot of people who hit me up asking for help, and I wish I could help everybody, but I can't. How would you go about asking an addict what triggers them? Just ask them. Here's the thing with addicts is we don't want to be treated different. This is the worst thing when you're an addict and you're getting sober, is you don't want to be different than everybody else. You do struggle like that a lot. And so when you feel like you're different, when you feel like you are that you're not, accepted almost, and you have that special thing that people bother you with. I mean, just ask people like, hey, I know you're an addict, dude. What do you need help with, bro? Like, do you want me not to drink around you or whatever? Treat them as a normal person. Treat them cool, but don't really sit and just be like, hey, what is your triggers and stuff on this? And like with me, I don't mind if other people drink around me. I'm not going to drink. It's one of those that as an addict, we have to want our sobriety. It's not up to other people per se. So we need to know how to protect ourselves from things that can trigger us or bother us to where we want to get addicted. Heart starts pounding when I drink alcohol. Probably because alcohol, even the sugar and stuff, probably screws with you. Um, I'm on Dextrin and Klonopin right now. All my addiction was self-medication. The real issues I'm feeling, less panic attacks. This feels great to get on the meds I need. No, exactly, Ruben. There's nothing wrong with getting on the meds that you need. That's what I don't think a lot of people realize is the meds that you need can help. How do you deal with sudden loss trauma therapy? 6 months clean, congratulations. Lost my niece and brother, age 36, dad died, 17, switch, heroin, cocaine, won't come off. Jesus. He has to want to. Yeah, he has to want to get sober, man. No one gets sober because they just kind of want to try it. If you wonder why you're not sober yet, you don't want to be sober yet. I mean, that is the one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize when the worst is when I talk to somebody and they're like, how do I stop using, how can I go back to using Coke only on the weekends? Or how do I only drink at night? Or, I'm only going to drink on the weekends. And it's like, dude, you don't, you either quit or you don't fucking quit. Codeine for pain, trying to wean myself off of it. We need to, and also even get with your doctors. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing is pain management is a real story. But one of the things, even with the addict though, even with an addict, we have to be honest with ourselves, man. Like, are you really in pain? Are you really in pain? Because if you're really in pain, like, dude, you deserve not to be in pain. But I can tell you this is like an addict, we're the biggest enablers. We're the little bitches of the world, man. We are the poor me, poor Eeyore. My wife was the best, and she used to bring this up, and she was like, dude, you play the fucking victim left and right. And I did, because if I played the victim, my relapses were justified. My self-sabotage was justified. If I was the victim, everything was justified. Until you realize that mentality even alone can fuck you up so much. I can drink one beer, cannot smoke one rock though. I can't do any of that. Do you read all the messages? I try, unless he wants to. I do try to read my messages. I get a ton of fucking messages, and so I don't read them all. That's why I do the texting. If you do want to text, I do respond to those. But it is $4.99. It is a mentoring. And I do respond to some of my messages. I just get thousands of them between TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, email, all of that it gets so overwhelming. I can read one or two messages usually, and then by that I'm like mentally done. It's a lot to fucking take on. And again, I don't think people realize, like, I don't have the answer for everything. I just more go through my testimony. My favorite food is lobster. You have to text, he gets too many DMs. Exactly. Thank you, babe. It's time to step up if that and not make it is. If you want to get sober, it is time to step up. Embrace the suck. It's gonna fucking suck. It's a beautiful nightmare. Sobriety's a fucking bitch. It's very boring. You have to learn to love yourself again. You have to learn what you like to actually go do besides getting high. Therapy also combined with that helps you know what were you self-medicating for. And so you can get to the root of a lot of things, but you can find a lot of joy in life. A lot of joy in life. I'm glad it did, Juanita. After a year of sobriety, is the brain still healing? I think the brain is still healing after a year because a year and a month in my sobriety, I attempted suicide. And a lot of mine was, I want to say, was very, very Coke driven still. I was so fucked up from Coke of what it did because people don't realize the biggest side effects from cocaine is what it does to your brain. It rewires your brain for dopamine. And so that's why also with a Coke addict, if you notice, a lot of Coke addicts will do more and more and more. And the reason they are is they're trying to chase that same dopamine rush, that same dopamine high that they'd gotten. And it's almost extremely challenging to ever get that again. And so the problem is, though, is your sensory in your brain is so rewired that things that used to bring you joy no longer bring you joy anymore. So to get your brain to level back out where you can find like the small joys in life and they make you feel good does huge. How do I find someone to help for my daughter's death? There's a lot of specialized trauma therapy out there. Super chat. Do you know / like penguins zero most critical? I don't know what you're talking about, Messi. I actually don't know what you're talking about. But no, find a trauma therapist, and trauma therapy is real. Like that, trauma therapy is one of the healthiest things that you can do. And you have to also, just like with anything, want the therapy. Penguin probably never touched a hard drug in his life. I actually don't know who that is. I live in my own little bubble. Do you know how to heal from depression? Yeah, you want to know how to heal from depression? I'll tell you nothing will heal depression. There's no amazing quick fix to depression. Here's the things that help me the most with my depression. I take a shower every single fucking day. I put on fresh clothes every single fucking day. I shave my head, I brush my teeth, I take care of myself. Just taking care of myself makes me feel good. It makes my life easier. I set my bed and make my bed. That makes me feel good. I find all these little things to make me feel good, make me feel productive, make me feel accomplished, and I start building on those little victories. EMDR therapy can help, but EMDR therapy will help the most with PTSD. So if you don't know what PTSD is a event essentially that happens in your life that fucks you up really bad. And a PTSD flashback is you literally relive that moment. Things will set you off and it will relive that moment. Mine was essentially something that EDMR could have helped with, but was the smell of blood was my trigger for the longest time. I don't even. Hey, you're fine, dude. Don't even worry about that. Suboxone is a vice for me. Help me feel vitalized and ready to work. And some people, it is a vice. It is a vice. Have you ever done DMT? Yes, I have done DMT. I messed around with a lot of psychedelics for a while. If you owe your dealers money, is that a problem? Depends on how much you owe your dealers. And I know a lot of dealers, if you owe them money for too long, they're going to get it back one way or another. And most of the dealers that I knew weren't really nice people. They weren't good people. They weren't your friend. So if you owed them money, you might come out and be missing your fucking rims off your fucking car. You might get the shit beat out of you. I don't know. So yeah, probably not a good thing. Mom died of fentanyl. I can tell you how that works. Yeah, no, fentanyl's the scariest drug to me. That I'm glad that I got sober before fentanyl became as big as it did. I got sober in 2017. I had heard of fentanyl, but I wasn't super familiar with it. Hi, Nell. How are you? So I'm glad that I got sober before fentanyl really hit the market because fentanyl's in Coke now. Fentanyl's in fucking everything now. Fentanyl and Coke is essentially speedball. And you have an opiate and you have a stimulant, and that will fuck you up even more. I hear and read a lot of good stuff on your live. Thank you, Random. I appreciate that. I'm glad that I know that the lives help people, and that's why I do them. And so I enjoy it. Have you ever had bad DTs? Like I've never detoxed with hallucinations. My worst physical detoxes were the alcohol detoxes. I went through the shaking, vomiting. I really jacked up my stomach really, really bad. A lot of body aches. I would wake up and I'd be in a puddle of fucking sweat. Those sucked fucking ass. Um, Sent M8, them Addies, the awesome better place. I'm lucky enough to never been homeless. Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing. So for some people, your rock bottom is homelessness. For some people, a DUI is rock bottom, and that's okay. Like rock bottom, embrace your suck, man. Embrace that nightmare. And I will say this is later on when you get sober, you look back at your rock bottom and you're like, man, thank God that fucking happened. When I was diagnosed as ADHD, I was diagnosed in the 90s. If you got to realize, so when I got diagnosed in ADHD, is like literally I had to do like I was doing fucking written tests. I met with two different psychiatrists. I met with a psychologist. They all worked together to actually get a diagnosis of originally ADHD. And then later on, I got re-diagnosed, or ADD, and then later on, I got re-diagnosed as ADHD because of the hyperactivity side of it. And so I will say this, having a diagnosis like that does make a huge difference because you understand now why your brain is kind of the way it is. Snorting Adderall worth it? Fuck no. Snorting Adderall is one of the dumbest things I ever did. Like I would only snort shit because I would run out of Coke and I was obsessed with putting stuff up my nose. I'd done meth before, never smoked meth, never IV'd meth. But I snorted it because people would lay it out and tell me it was a fucking line of Coke. And guess what? I fucking vacuum it up. And next thing you know, it burns all of a sudden going down. And I'm like, this isn't Coke. Spent a long time doing that with base speed and it fucking isn't worth it. Yeah, no, it's not worth it. Alcohol rock bottom was being arrested, put on supervised probation for a year, been trying to get sober a couple of years at that point. Yeah. Dude, one of my Facebook memories popped up today. Today was one of my many 6 months of sobriety in 2012, I think it was, or 2012 or 2013. Like, I mean, that's how many times I had really tried getting sober. Like sobriety to me was something I had fought for and wanted and half-ass wanted, I should say. Like I knew there was a problem, but I never really wanted to get sober. But I started trying in 2000. God, I don't even know when. I was like 23 when I went to my first AA meeting. How did I stop the harming? I found out what triggered it and why I did it. Therapy can help you a lot with that. Like people don't realize how much therapy can help, but therapy is only going to help if you're honest with your therapist and you're fucking brutally honest with your therapist. Otherwise, it's not going to work because you lied to your therapist. You want to know what lying to your therapist does this. This is the best example of what happens when you lie to your therapist. My dad had his own psychologist and psychiatrist, and he killed himself and committed suicide. That's what lying to your therapist can get you. So, I mean, telling them the truth and telling them what's really going on and trying to truly get help is a different story. And you have to want it. Because it's scary to get help, man. It's scary to work on yourself. It's scary to fix yourself. That's scary shit, man. You deal with a lot of fucking dark holes and demons and fucking empty pits in your fucking stomach and chest. You look at your life and wonder if your life was really worth it to this point. You have so much regret. You have so much amends that you have to make. You go through a lot of shit when you really go into therapy and you really want to mentally get better. I just want to come off weird to them. I don't think you ever come, like, seriously, if you legit want to help somebody and you do it with your heart, and that's all you can do. It's scary to ask for help, but one of the bravest things you can do, it is. Hi from Tennessee. Asking for help is. You will tomorrow, I didn't know. And that's the thing is, like, I was a master of lying to my therapist. I was in therapy when I attempted suicide because I lied to my therapist. Every time I went and saw my therapist, first question, how are you feeling right now? I feel great. How was your week? And how's your month been? Oh, it's been wonderful. Everything was always fucking great. Everything was always fucking wonderful because I'm just going through the motions because this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to just show up here and it fixes me by not being honest. until I really realized that the most help I ever got out of therapy was going in and just being brutally honest with my fucking therapist and leaving it at that and starting to find tools and coping tools to help me through all my shit. Thank you, Mindy. I appreciate that. Uh, you want to know something that'll help you get sober too? If you're getting sober, I actually suggested this to somebody. Somebody had done my mentoring thing, and she was addicted to coke. She was at a $200 bag a day addict. I was like, damn, dude, you're working your way up there to get to 200 bucks a day. I mean, that's an 8 ball of coke a day. Um, and she was like, what can I do like to help me with my sobriety and getting sober? She was like, I've hit rock bottom. Like, I'm ready to do this. And I was like, I went through all this stuff and we were talking about it, go to, NA meetings, all this. And I was like, one of the things you're going to find out is it's really fucking boring and it's hard to like rewire your life. And I was like, try 75 hard. 75 hard is actually pretty fucking amazing because it bombards you with all this shit you're supposed to do every day if you really put yourself into it. That it helps you at least have something to look forward to, and it gives you something to do instead of just sitting there scrolling mindlessly, trying to escape reality and just fucking losing your shit mentally. You're from Denver. What up from Denver? I'll be live here for about 10 more minutes. So, I mean, if you guys have questions or anything, I'm happy to just share my experiences because I know that testimony is one of the things that does help people the most. A majority of us, more or less, is feeling alone. Overcoming your thoughts. Tips for overthinking, ways to possibly overcome your thoughts. Well, a lot of them I will say is when it comes to overthinking and over your thoughts, like what are you overthinking? Like, do you ever drill down and go, what are you overthinking? Like, what is it? Usually overthinking is a lot of anxiety that you feel out of control of something. What do you feel out of control of? Like you have to break it down to the basics. Is how I've always have overcome a lot of the shit that I've went through in my life is to thank you, Kiefer. Is to really go, what is the reason that I'm overthinking, or what is, I struggle with a lot of fucking anxiety. And one of the things that had helped me so much with like my anxiety, for example, is routines now puts me in control. I know what to look forward to. I can structure out my day. It makes my day easier for me. It takes a lot of relief off me. Now I'm not as anxious. So it's a lot of things of finding coping tools for you that help you through what you're going through. How do you not get coke nose? How did I not get coke nose? Because mine's all internal and blown out up here. This is all blown out. You want to know how bad this is and like the holes up here? If I lean forward in the summertime and my sinuses are bad, my sinuses will just start pouring the fuck out, like just pouring out. Tried sour technique for anxiety attacks. It worked. I'm glad that it worked. Your senses are stronger than a lot of your anxiety attacks and stuff like that. It makes a huge difference. What are some of my hobbies? I collect Pokemon cards. I play Pokemon Go. I go on a lot of walks. I do work out. Wintertime is harder for me. Summertime, my wife and I have a lot of hobbies. We paddleboard. We go. We do a lot of tubing. We do a lot of floating the rivers. We do a lot outside when it goes to hiking. We travel a ton. Those are huge hobbies of mine. House hobbies, like literally you want to know what my hobbies are? I like to clean. Like I like to clean my house and have a nice clean house. That's literally one of my hobbies and I look forward to doing it. I find weird shit and weird joys. Social media is a hobby of mine. I mean, it's also a job. I still enjoy it. Like I enjoy it again now. I used to do a lot of social media. I stopped for a long time. And they've always changed over time. So I like to garden. So during the summertime, we have a garden. I had a koi pond for the longest time that I loved. I am married again. I adore my wife now. My wife now is pretty fucking amazing. I saw your vids on hydrocodone, which I found interesting because one of my drugs of choice was stimulating opiates. Yeah, no. Stimulating opiates for me were like, holy shit. Something can make me feel so good and make me just, oh my God, this is awesome. Like fucking, dude, hydrocodone were fucking brutal for me. Like I didn't get hooked to them, but I remember like taking them and I always looked forward. It was 1 week I would take them. at an RV show, and I wouldn't take a huge dose. I'd break them in half and take a pill a day. And I'd be drinking shit at the same time. And of course, my addict brain was like, oh, I need this because I'm on my feet and stuff a lot. But man, the way that it made me feel inside was scary. And my drug of choice was fucking cocaine, which kind of overrode me doing like a lot of like actually really getting into like hydrocodone and stuff. And I am in a weird way grateful for that. But no, stimulating is fucking insane. Can you? No, I can't. I'm allergic to opiates, thankfully. So my other stimulants and drinking, I feel that. No, and that is the thing. Like, even if you're allergic to stuff and you're an addict, like you find some other obsession out there, it fucking sucks. And you probably find out you're allergic to opiates, and you still even try to take them at times. And you truly try to just get whatever you fucking can, man, to get high sometimes. Every true cokehead blows straight pancakes out of their nose. Every true coke addict knows what it's like to be jacking off to porn with a limp dick. Fucking hot plate knows what it's like to snort up fucking sand, cat hair, fucking all that shit in your fucking carpet that you just crushed up on your plate, hoping that there's maybe a little bit of fucking coke in there because you just want to get high and your plug ain't fucking calling you and back right now and you can't get a hold of them and you're just like, holy fuck. You have a right to April to be angry at your husband. Dude. If you're angry at somebody for being fucking sober for their addiction, you have a right to be. And don't ever think that you don't have. If you look at somebody, you're like, God, they're getting sober. I don't have the right to be mad at them. Fuck that. You can be fucking pissed at them. You can be fucking angry. Your emotions are valid. That's one of the hardest things I think when somebody's getting sober, especially the people that they fuck up in their life, is you're like, oh my God, this person's getting sober. They're trying so hard. They did all this shit and they fucked me up. So I should be supportive? No. You be you, and it is okay for you to be like, fuck you, motherfucker. Doing a hot rail? No, not like doing a hot rail. You hot plate with meth, or not with coke, because if it's a little too crusty and chunky to help it just break down so much quicker. You know what was foreshadowing? It still home, no job, anxiety. I needed carpet sift through for weed. Yeah, dude, carpet surfing is fucking real, man. I mean, some of the stuff that we as addicts do is insanity. I used to get my coke and wrapped up in paper, and I would eat the paper afterwards. I mean, that's just some of the dumb shit that I would do. Thanks so much for the gift. That's some of the dumb shit that I would do through my addiction. I mean, I would literally, I would take paper towel or I would take tissues and I'd wet them down and I'd snort through to get the moisture up here to blow out my sinuses and stuff, clear out my throat. And if it got too bad and that wasn't working, I would blow my nose and I would take whatever I blew my nose into and I knew that there was coke in there, that I would rip that paper apart and I would swallow and eat that shit. That's how fucked I was. Like nothing went to waste. I scrape straws. Yeah, no, I do. I know what it's like to sit there with dollar bills and you're like scraping the fucking dollar bills. All my credit cards had the plastic worn off of them because I would scrape my cards together so much as trying to get it all off. No, I hate it. I never did crack. Crack to me was a waste. Crack was a waste of cocaine. Why would you do crack when you can do coke? That was my mentality. We don't have medication for ADHD in our state. There's other things for ADHD besides that. RC benzos, recreational, 21 male. My thing is this, man. Benzos are deadly. Benzos is a deadly withdrawal. The deadliest of withdrawals out there that will fucking kill you, withdrawing from them, are alcohol and benzos. They affect your central nervous system. You go into cardiac arrest and die. And that's when you're getting sober from them. So that is the one thing that you have to remember. No, it is more powerful, but that's the thing. I wasn't addicted. I wanted to snort it. I didn't want to smoke shit. If you have a friend who is on the phone having a panic attack, how can you help them? Talk about where they're at. Just talk about where they're at and just stay on the phone with them. Benzos are the devil. What was yours, Guido? What was your drug of choice? Was that yours? I always appreciate the content and recovery. Hey, thank you so much, Gina. I appreciate that. Yeah, smoking crack and stuff like that would never excite me. Like people tell me they smoked, like they had crack, and I'd be like, "Why'd you waste the fucking coke, dude? You're stupid." Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that. Overdose and mix of benzos and alcohol. I didn't die, but pissed out of that. Is that opiates and benzos? There you go, Guido. All right. I thought you had benzos in that. You're lucky you didn't die. I have a friend of mine. I actually have a friend who died. I worked with him. He died OD of alcohol and benzos. He was dead. His wife found him dead at the kitchen table with the fucking bottle there, the fucking pills there. Just fucking dead. All right, I've been on these lives for an hour, so I'm going to jump off of these. We are going out tonight. We have a friend's birthday party we're going to, so I'm going to jump off and go do that. But I am trying to get better about going maybe live once a day just to talk. I know people get a lot out of the chats. Whereas it is a deadly combo. It's a scary combo, and it's hard because alcohol is like that poly drug that kind of fits into everything. That no matter what you're doing, it's almost like alcohol is there too. Absolutely. Thank you, Black. I hope everybody else stays warm too. I know like everywhere is getting pounded right now with snow and shit. But now I'm gonna jump off these lives. I do appreciate all the support and all the people that are out there. I will. I'll probably go live again maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I'll go live again tomorrow. Why not? Why not? So I hope that you guys all have a beautiful rest of the day.